Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. So we just went through the skill trailer of Evie and now the Pioneer server is live with Evie for testing. Keep in mind the content is subject to change. However, one thing I want to highlight in this video is Evie isn't working how you may have expected. So some people were thinking, what if you went for a fully invincible stallish type comp? Isn't that going to work effectively? Now it can work for some battles. However, Evie's range of her investigation is only one tile. So for example here, Evie is going to jump onto the Lumont and there's no one within one tile of the starting position, and so she is only going to be able to investigate him, and then she'll have to move on to the next target. And so you're going to see what ends up happening when you go for a team like this. In terms of invincibility, you're fine. You're gonna get one investigation off on Lumont, but then as you excel here, the detection period is wearing off, and you don't even get a second follow-up investigation, and already Evie, the detection period ends, and Evie becomes targetable again, and then she just dies. So if you're going for this type of strategy, it only works when enemies are grouped up. Because now I'm going to show you another AFK stage where the grouped enemies are grouped up, and you can apply this obviously in PvP as well, with a grouped up enemy team. Now here, Evie's going to jump right onto Nero, and everyone is adjacent to the Nero, so they're all going to be within the range of investigation. So the same exact team in this AFK stage of grouped up enemies is going to investigate all enemies at once, and then all it takes is 5 seconds to pass, and boom, all are investigated, all are debuffed. Basically, Evie has just gotten maximum value for her team, but this is only when all enemies are grouped up. So what does this mean? Does it mean that you cannot use Evie unless everyone's grouped up? Well, actually, no. There is a way, and Sojourner basically came up with this idea, and then I tested it, and it does seem to be very effective. Using ultimate heroes on your team. So it's now, I'm believing that Evie is probably made more for AFK stages rather than maybe PvP. I don't know. Because the thing is, if you're going to need to have multiple ultimate casts and cycle them for Evie to actually remain in her investigation concealed state, and that is one way basically to do it. And so you're going to see here, same lineup, we have the Lumont, but now if we're going for an ultimate heavy team, what's going to happen is we're just going to cycle the ultimates with the Twins, with the Sylvan, with the Hugin, and that is going to basically be enough ultimate casting to reduce the detection period of Evie. So if you see this detection period, it's the blue eye over here. It's filling up with the red, but each time we cast an ultimate, it's going to reduce basically the and elongate our concealment duration. And now the Twins are casting their ultimate, and there you go. If you look at the detection eye now, it's just completely blue. We're not even filling it up because we're cycling ultimates so fast. And so what ends up happening is you're just able to have Evie go through, investigate all enemies one by one, because that's what's needed if they're not grouped up from the initial formation. And then by around about the 63 or 64 second left mark, all enemies are going to be investigated, and you're going to have your maximum debuff, and you're going to see it activate right now. We just investigated the final enemy, and boom, it turns into the yellow scroll page, which means that our full debuffs have activated, and you need to investigate all enemies for this to activate. So you're seeing here, you're going to need to have because most AFK stages are not going to have grouped up enemies like we had in this one sort of unique stage. They're going to have spread out enemies, and in which case you're going to need to have ultimates consistently casted to prolong her duration in the concealed state, but then she is one by one going to investigate everyone, and you are going to get the full value of her kit. So this is awkward, because what I was expecting is how she was going to work is you could just throw her into any team, for example in PvP, and just go and do basically what she does here, which is get all the enemies debuffed within 5 seconds, or maybe, you know, take an extra 5 seconds up to 10 seconds, but that's not how it's actually going to work. It is going to be, you're going to need much more support for it to actually activate, because like if for example you're in Supreme Arena, obviously you're not going to have everyone grouped up around one center enemy. You're going to have people spread out across different areas, and that is going to need Evie to take longer to actually get her debuffs off. Also, one thing you're probably noticing is because Evie needs to have a very specific tile placement, she's mainly an offensive hero. Kind of like Sylvina, you want to jump on a specific tile. Like for example, if I had Evie on my defense and you come in with an offense like over here, Eve's not going to jump onto the ideal, the middle central target, which is what you want to get the most number of initial, basically, investigations. So she is going to be more of an offensive PvP hero. Now, that said, I'm sure she can work on defense, but basically, these are the limitations of the drawbacks. And the thing is, Evie doesn't get full value from her kit unless she investigates everyone. You can't just, investigate a few. And there's no, once you have left your conceal period, this initial battle start, you will never have a chance to investigate further. You will never have a chance to enter your conceal state and investigate further. It's basically, you either need to investigate everyone in your initial, basically, that thing she gets at the beginning of battle, or you're not going to get it at all. You're going to have to live with however many you investigated. And if you do not investigate all enemies' heroes, like all gathering intel on all surviving enemy heroes, then you're not going to get this exclusive skill effect. Now, what this exclusive skill does is two things. Number one, it causes the enemies to deal up to 35% less damage. That is huge, reducing their damage output by 35%. The other thing is it causes more, even amplified magical damage being received by the enemy by another bonus 25%. So that is a big difference, and you're not going to trigger this unless you have gathered intel on every surviving enemy, which means mostly for PvP you have to gather intel on everyone right from the beginning, because you're not going to have another chance to gather the intel if you end your conceal period. The other thing is that she has a lot more magic defense shred. Her magic defense shred comes from this skill as well whenever she gathers intel, but basically you want to gather intel on all enemies to get the maximum debuffs, and that is essential for her. If she doesn't get that, she's not really going to be living up to her potential, and honestly probably not going to be good enough. And so this is really the thing. She's going to be a niche hero because she needs support. Like for AFK stages, she's going to need the ultimate support. Now in AFK stages, the fortunate thing is a lot of, like, now with the Sylvan teams coming out, she's going to slot in very well to the Sylvan teams and probably making them better. Like you guys just saw here, the Mehira, Hugo, and Sylvan team, we have the crowd control from Sylvan, we have the Mehira grouping, and then you just have Evie by the 64-second left mark, you're going to debuff all enemies. That's going to increase the damage they're taking from magical sources, also reduce their damage output, and overall it is an effective team. But the thing is, do you need Evie in this slot? Like, I mean, the team is fine if you don't have Evie and you run Frieren in it, you run Rowan in it, Velara. We've already done that. And so, like, that's the thing. Evie has these debuffs, but is it better than Velara in the team? Because Velara also really enhances your team's output, and I don't know about that. For PvP, I'm not very liking her because she's going to be very situational and mainly an offensive related hero, because, like, on defense, if you're going to put Evie here, the enemy is just going to be like, okay, I'm just going to have one sole hero over here, and then all the other ones can be in different places, just not adjacent, and she's only going to get one proc off, and she's going to have to proc one by one all 5 different targets, and that's going to take way too long. The fight is going to be over. Your team is going to be dead. Like, it's way too slow. For PvP, it can only work if you have, like, a fully grouped up enemy team, but now no one's going to run that. Like, I mean, in Clash fronts, maybe you can catch someone off guard, but, like, you're not going to run a grouped up team now knowing that Evie is out there. Just like, you always try to position around Sylvina, you're going to position around Evie too now, but then she's not going to be able to get anything done or get off her full value. So this is really the thing about this hero Evie. I think that honestly, things could change, obviously, but before the release date. However, currently, I think she's very niche. She's very specific. I don't know if she's going to be better support in AFK stages than something like Velara. And I do think maybe for the stages with grouped up enemies, like in AFK stages, you can just get that, 5 seconds in the match, massive debuff value, and then that's cool. But in PvP, it's not going to happen because people are going to position around it. If you run her on defense, people are just going to know how to deal with her. Like, it's running Vala on defense, Sylvina on defense. It just doesn't work because you know how to deal with it. You're going to counter it. And so those are the things about this Evie. And then also in PvP, she's going to need ultimates to basically sustain her investigation. And by the time she's even done investigating, the team is probably going to be dead, or you're going to already be at a disadvantage. So that's really the thing about Evie. I think that she's way too of a kind of like, in an ideal world, she can get off a lot of value, but realistically, she's not going to get value in most PvP matches and also in most AFK stages. And so I personally, I'm not convinced about her. I'm definitely going to wait for Nerion, and maybe he's going to be the more important hero, or maybe it's just going to be Frieren and Himmel who are the strong heroes, and these heroes are more passable. Anyway, guys, you can feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And this is a Pioneer server. Of course, things can change by global release, so do not get like, you know, too basically attached to the current state of Eevee. Things could change, and yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video and a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.